Making custom modules in Waybar is not actually that difficult. All you really need is to identify what function you want to flesh out inside of your bar, and then basically just go about implementing that. Now, there is a section inside of Waybar's wiki which accurately describes this. Now, let's just go there so I can show you. Let's say is Waybar wiki. Okay, now you open this website, which is basically Waybar's GitHub. Then you click on wiki. And what we're looking for over here is going to be custom modules. So if I just search for custom, inside of custom, we find a bunch of different modules. So in modules, you have custom. So just click on that. And let me show you an example of what a custom module can look like. So right now, you see one custom module already over here, which is basically Pac-Man's updates. Okay. Now this depends on the check update script, which you can find inside of pacman-contrib. So as you can see, I have 136 updates pending on my Arch system, which of course I can click on this module to install the updates. Now, that's one module which I'm going to show you how you can implement. And apart from that, there is another module which is media. So config, Waybar config, it's here, but I've just disabled it because I didn't have any use for it. So let's see. So we're going to make sure that media is actually over here, which it is. Let's go here and then just add it in. So custom/media. Now if I reload, yeah, this is what you see over here. Right now it shows nothing because there's not actually any media being played. However, let's say I go to YouTube and then I pick a song to play. Let's pick some Lakey inspired music. Okay, so I search for, let's say, Lakey inspired. Okay, and then I just play the song. Yeah, you're gonna have to ignore the speed at which I've set this. But anyway, this is what you see over here. Now you see two names, which is basically the artist's name being displayed twice. However, if you use something like Spotify or you use another tool in order to play music that's not YouTube inside of your web browser, you're only going to see the artist's name and then the song that's being played, which is very nice. So let's just leave this for now. And let's show you how you can get started. So first I will show you how to get this Pac-Man module and then media, and then I'll show you how to write your own. Okay, now before that, we're gonna have to learn the basics. So how exactly does this work? Well, first of all, inside of the config, we create a custom module by writing in custom/media or custom/Pac-Man. So Pac-Man is actually pretty simple. If I show you Pac-Man, this is the module that you see over here. Now I'll explain each of these options, which there seem to be quite a lot, but regardless, I'll just skim through them and show you how they apply to actually writing a module. Now, inside of exec, we have basically a string that is going to execute something. And then inside of exec if, you have the path to a script, which determines if the script inside of exec should be executed. Okay, now this will be executed only if the code of exec if equals 0. So these two are used in tandem. Now, okay, tell you what. To properly explain this, I'm going to have to find a module where this is actually being used so you can understand it better. So let's actually not run through each of these. You can run through them manually on your own if you want. What I will do is make things much easier for you and show how whatever options are actually over here can be used to apply practically. Okay, so of course, we start with format, which is going to be this updates icon, this cloud icon, and then these two braces. So the way that format works inside of custom modules, or basically inside of any module inside of Waybar, is you put these two braces, and then whatever data has to be put inside of this format is going to go inside of those braces. So let's say I added two more braces, like so. What should happen if I reload is I should see the same data being displayed twice. Now, if that doesn't work, it basically just breaks the module. Okay, now it's supposed to show it, but it doesn't, but you get the idea. All you're supposed to do is just put in these two braces, these two curly braces inside a format, and then the data is going to be displayed inside of that. Now, interval is going to be once because you only want to check for updates one time when you actually launch the bar. You don't want to constantly be checking over and over, although that is a function you can implement. You just want to check once whenever you load the bar. Now, what is this going to do? This is basically just going to run a check updates script and then get the number of lines that this outputs. So if I show you check updates, it should return a list of updates like so. Now all you have to do is just count the number of lines and you should get the number of updates. Now, as you can see, running check updates is a bit slow because it's going to have to check for updates, basically update the package database and whatnot, whatever it does in the background, which is why it actually takes some time and doesn't show up instantly like the other modules. It takes a second or two. That is why there's a delay. Okay, and this check update script can be gotten using Pac-Man-contrib. So if you install this package, you should get access to this check update script, which you can just use over here. Then on click, you're going to update system. That is another script that has been defined inside of my Waybar scripts folder. Instead, what you could probably do is run something like kitty -- hold. If you're using the kitty terminal, you can just run kitty -- hold -syu. And what that should do is basically just open a terminal with the update already running. Okay, there we go. Just reloaded the bar, and now if I just type in update, it updates as usual. That's it. Then signal is going to be 8. Now, hold on. Let's look at what signal does here. So signal is an integer. This is the signal number used to update the modules. The number is valid between 1 and n, where sig_rt_min plus n equals sig_rt_max. So basically, whatever signal you want to send to this module in order to update the module is going to be sent in this form. So signals are actually a completely different topic, which have to be covered in a separate video, to be honest. So if you have no idea what this is, you honestly most probably don't really require it. So you can just leave that be. However, if you just want to get this module working, then you can just leave that in. And then we have tooltip format, which is going to be these two curly braces and then updates available. So if I hover there, you see updates available. Great. Now that is for the Pac-Man module. Now I'll show you what the media module consists of. Okay, now here. Same, we start off with format, which is going to be these two curly braces. Whatever data needs to be put into the module goes in here. Escape equals true. Now, what does that mean? Let's take a look. So escape is basically option to enable escaping of script output. What this means is basically whatever output is going to be displayed over here is not done inside of Waybar itself. Instead, we get the output from a different Python script, which I will show you. And then we put the output inside of this Waybar module, which is why it's important and imperative that we have this escape keyword over here. Then return type is JSON. Again, this is going to depend based on what exactly your module does. Because this media module uses an external media player.py script, we're going to require return type to be JSON. Because if I show you what that script actually does, let's just execute python config Waybar scripts. It's media player.sh, actually py. And as you see here, this is what we have. We get data in terms of JSON. That's why it's important to have the return type to be JSON. Max length is going to be 40, pretty simple. You don't want the length of this module to exceed 40 characters. On click, playerctl play pause. So playerctl is a tool, right? It's a tool for players supporting the Empress dbus specification. It's a controller for media players, basically. You can use this for Spotify. You can use it for YouTube. You can use it for any web browser. Basically, anything that plays audio, you can mostly control using playerctl. So if you left click, play pause. If you right click, you're going to stop playing. Smooth scrolling threshold is only if you have a trackpad. You can actually switch between different songs. Let's say if you're on Spotify by scrolling up or scrolling down. This depends, and you should change this based on whether you're using a trackpad. So if I set the threshold to 1, if I just give one scroll of my scroll wheel, just one little scroll, and then it's going to change the song. However, that's probably not going to happen with the trackpad. So you're going to have to adjust this depending on what you're using. On scroll up, we just go to the next song. On scroll down, previous song. That's it. Exec, we are going to be executing this script, this media player.py script. And this script you can actually find inside of the media section over here. So if I show you examples, it should either be in examples or in third party. Okay, here it is. So inside of generic media player, this is what we have. So you can just copy this and then paste it into here. And as for the media player script, you have to go to Waybar's main website, and then you should find it inside of the resources section. So resources, custom modules, media player.py. So you click here and then you click on raw, and then you basically save it, right click, save as, and then you save it inside of .config, Waybar, scripts, and then the script directory. And then of course you refer that over here. So that is how you can create two custom modules as you've seen over here. Now, what if you had to create a custom module that, let's say, for whatever reason, you wanted to display the number of directories or number of basically files or folders inside of your home directory. Let's say you wanted to get that and then display it inside of your Waybar in order to keep an eye on your home directory. And so to basically ensure that it doesn't end up becoming too bloated and to remind yourself to clean it up often. Now, how would you actually go about doing that? Let's go back to custom modules and let's see what we have over here. So the basic premise is going to be we run ls-l and then we count, okay, ls-l. That's going to give us a list of all the files and folders that are in our home directory. We run that and then we pipe that to wc-l. So that's going to give us the number of lines, which is basically the same as the number of files and total number of files and folders inside of our home directory. We get 14 in this case. So we want to take this, store it in a variable, and then basically display that over here. We can do the same or we can basically take the syntax that we had for the Pac-Man module, copy that over to here, and then we should be good. Let's do that. Go to config, Waybar, config.jsonc, and then let's see what to do. Let's go to Pac-Man, and then let's see. Okay, so we'll just copy this, right click, copy, and then paste. Okay, then go back. And let's see here. We are going to change the icon. Let's just add in a folder icon over here. We can go over to nerdfonts.com, get an icon, and look for folder. Okay, this. We can either get folder or we can get file. File/folder. Let's say if we have both file folder. Yep, we have both. So we can just pick this material design one. Okay, let's take a, okay, so the other icons are actually filled, so we'll go with this one. And then we'll paste that here. We'll also change the name to display something like home folder, just to keep it like that, okay? Let's see, great. Interval is going to be once. What are we going to exec? That same command we ran earlier, just going to ls-l. You can type in the entire path to your home directory, home user 0. Basically just list this directory and then count the number of lines. On click, you're just going to open the home directory. That's going to be kitty --hold ls-l. That's it. You want to do that. Signal, you can just leave that be. Tooltip. This, okay, these curly braces are going to substitute in data. So that number, let's say it's 14 files and folders in home total. 14 total files and folders, in home. Great. Now we actually did it for absolutely the wrong. Okay, whatever. Let's just copy and paste it. Let's copy this and paste it over because we should have done it in the module below. Okay, anyway, let's just, yeah. Okay, we've replaced the icons. Let's just go here, run ls-l, ls-l. And here you want to hold another ls-l, get rid of signal. And here you want to type in total files and folders in home. Folders in home. Okay, now if everything is right, you should be able to run this and have it work. Let's change this to home folder. And then we have to add that to module right. So we add in custom/home_folder. Do that. Right changes, and what do we see? There you go. Perfect. It works. Right, we have 15, probably including some extra file. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now it's probably picking up something else, which is why it says 15. We can, of course, make this to be something like, hold on. Let's see here. We can just type in ls-l wc. Okay, here's what we can do. We can run bash, get this as a number, and basically subtract by 1. We can try and do some math stuff. Now, this might not work. Okay, most likely it doesn't. Let's see what we can do to actually make this work and display the right number of files and folders. Live troubleshooting over here. Let's go. Let's see over here. So what if we do it this way? Okay, we have to store that in a variable. Let's say it's going to be number equals, and then we place it here. Okay, and then we echo number. Should get 14 if we echo a number minus 1. Okay, that doesn't work. Let's see if whether it's an issue with echo itself. Let's look at what echo okay has got for us. Okay, it's literally going to echo help. Let's man echo and see what we have. Do not output trailing new line. Okay, this is what we have. And what do we actually need? We need to reduce this by 1. So we've stored it in a variable. Okay, got it. So all we need to do is basically reduce $number. That doesn't work. $number is equal to $. Okay. This number equals number minus 1. And then if we echo number, let's see. Come on. Great. There you go. Perfect. So what you're supposed to do is use these 2 parentheses after a $sign in order to invoke numerical operations, mathematical operations. So if we copy this stuff and then paste that in over here, okay, this is absolutely live, no holds barred. It should work, but it doesn't. Okay. Now, I can do more troubleshooting and then go down a little bit of a rabbit hole and figure out exactly how to show the exact number of files and folders available, but you get the idea. That would make this video way too long, and my intention is to just show you the basic premise of how this stuff works. So let's actually not do that. Keep this basic stuff for now. If you really wanted to, you could go ahead and go down your own rabbit hole and figure out how to do this. So let's go to... And by the way, speaking of rabbit holes, if you want to know how to make a custom theme switcher like this one, without having to jump through all the rabbit holes that you potentially would have to, if you had no clue how to actually make something like this, you can go ahead and click the first link in the description. I show you exactly how to make a custom theme switcher like this one, along with a Waybar theme switcher, so that you can have fun, basically. So you can use your computer in whatever way you please, so that you're not tied down by one single theme, and you can basically switch depending on your time, on the time of day. So let's say you wanted a distraction-free environment, you can just pick something like Noir, get your stuff done, pop back out. Want to sit in a chill environment, just have fun, you can use something like Night Fox, and then set your environment up that way. Best part, it adapts all the colors no matter where I am. Okay, now these are Kanagawa colors, and these are Everforest dark colors, Grovebox dark colors. As you can see, all the colors for all apps basically update immediately. No day, nothing of the sort. So if you want to know how to make something like this without wasting any of your time and without having to look through 20 different loopholes and basically not figure out how to do the thing anyway, you can just go ahead and click the first link in the description. I show you exactly how to make something like this. Okay, now let's go to config Waybar style.css, and here let's do something else. We're supposed to add the same style to the home folder. Let's go here and then add in hashtag home underscore folder. Whoops, come on. Okay, let's just change this here. We'll change this to home folder. Home hyphen folder. And now, okay, it should work. Let's see what's going on. Maybe because, right, the module needs to be changed here as well. So that would be home dash folder Reload. Still doesn't work. Let's go down another troubleshooting rabbit hole and figure out why exactly it's not working. So custom/home folder. Let's see what's happening here. Custom home folder. Okay, that's supposed to work. And it seemingly does work. However, let's see what the Waybar logs have to say. There. It gives us the same error. Let's see here. Okay, got it. We're supposed to add in custom over here. So custom home folder. Now reload. Perfect. That's it. Now, if we want to add any sort of color to it, we just have to copy this and then paste it here. Change the name to custom home folder. Here we change something to like probably aqua for a color. And that's it. That is how to make a custom module in Waybar. If I make a new directory, or let's say I touch test.txt, I reload. As you can see, it says 16. It's ideally supposed to say 15, but probably it's picking up on something that it shouldn't be, which you can of course fix by going and searching up just some basic syntax stuff. But apart from that, that is how you make custom modules. From Pac-Man to media to your very own module, which tells you how bloated your home directory is, that's how you do it. If you liked the video, hit like. If you loved it and want to see more like this in your feed, hit subscribe. And not to mention, if you want to make a custom theme switcher like this one without wasting any time whatsoever and basically have fun all whilst you're doing it and basically having fun using your computer, go ahead and click the first link in the description. It would be an honor of mine to show you how to do this. Until next time, stay rising.